I think one thing about COVID, which we can all agree on, is that जो भी ऐसा devastation हुआ है mentally हम पे, it's universal, you know. And if each of us thinks that we can help one other person, that's it. The whole world can be saved that way. So we just have to do what we can, and we have to cope the best we can in these unprecedented times in the history of mankind, for that matter. Unless we start becoming more other regarding as a community, as a country, as a world, we cannot help those who have been impacted so much more than us, who have like 2 square meals to eat in a day, who still have some money left in the bank. Neuroscience now tells us very categorically that emotions are not universal. So therefore, what are emotions and how are we actually perceiving these emotions?
What and like ideologies we see, like not the answer we expected truly, right? So your thoughts like brought some other questions to my mind. So you mentioned that there are very uncertainties at this point of time, right? People are going foodless. Fortunately, we have enough to suffice, but there are people who think of how to get the next meal, right? There are people who are losing jobs right now. There are friends like us, like I and Sajal, right? We are on call right now. We're not able to meet. We're not in the same house because of COVID, right? There are people who are not able to meet their families. So how can they cope up with the current anxiety, depression, whatever we call it, right? Words does not mean anything right now, but there's a feeling this common in all of us, right? We say some call it anxiety, some call it stress. But what is this exact feeling, right? And how can we like cope up with this? Losing jobs, maybe, or not being able to meet the loved ones, seeing like losing some loved ones, right? There are people who have died because of COVID-19. May their soul rest in peace. But how how can we cope up with these things, which is very important for all of us?
It's a tough question. And it's not an immediate answer.
Yeah,
I will say this, but it's actually related to something that I said in my previous answer as well. It's about the awakening of the consciousness. But yes, can you tell a person who's hungry and doesn't have a meal to feed himself or his children, please beta, awaken your consciousness? No, we do need a full stomach first. So I'm going to treat that as a separate bucket altogether. I will talk instead about people like us who are feeling this helplessness, what you call anxiety, right? And this is where that science, and in particular neuroscience, has got some incredible concepts coming up, which I think sharing and talking about these today might really benefit us. So all along we believe that emotions are universal. ठीक है कि कोई मरता है तो हम सबको दुख लगता है. If we do something bad, we will all feel guilty. If something stressful happens, we all get stressed. And we all think that stress should look like this, happiness should look like this. I'll say something little controversial. A lot of people, जो सुशांत सिंह रिया चक्रवर्ती का controversy चल रहा है, हमें ऐसा लगता है कि रिया चक्रवर्ती is completely expressionless, and because she seems to have no expression on the camera, we have a lot of people have just automatically judged. I'm not going to the merits of the case or the facts. We as outsiders will never know the truth, but we have prejudged her based on the fact that she's not showing remorse. But I'll just point out the danger of something like that. Neuroscience now tells us very categorically that emotions are not universal. Okay, let's take a simple example. Does Samveg show happiness the same way as Sajal, as Sandhya? No, we all three will express our happiness in a completely different way, right? You might go yippee and want to go out with your friends and have a beer or whatever. Sajal may say, oh my God, I'm so happy today. I want to just curl up with my book, or I want to write it in my diary. Sorry, Sajal, I'm not sure. Whatever. And I might, for me, and my idea is I will want to go tell my mother, and that's it. That's happiness for me. So these are not, everybody doesn't have to show it like this, is what I'm trying to say. And therefore, therefore, what are emotions and how are we actually perceiving these emotions? For another, we will never know. And that's the bottom line. But for ourselves, let me tell you, our body basically our brain is perceiving certain sensations, right? Certain stimulus from the outside world. Yes, there's news hitting us. Cases are going up, deaths are going up, this thing is going up. For somebody else who's getting different input that, oh, my father is ill, my grandmother has COVID. Each of us is getting different inputs and we are seeking out and whatever, right? Now, in a sense, we have something just called affects within our body. Affects are like very basic, rudimentary reactions. We have the basic affects that all human beings have are of calm, agitation, pleasure and displeasure. बस ये चारों ही हैं और कुछ है ही नहीं. अभी ऐसा है कि so there is a beautiful book by a neuroscientist and a psychotherapist. It's called How Emotions Are Made. It's by Dr. Lisa Feldman Barrett. She explains this beautifully and very humorously as well. So she says that imagine that the inside of our body is we have interoception. जैसे कि perception होता है बाहर से, अंदर से interoception होता है, but it's blind. Okay, we are just getting all this stimulus. Now what we do is that it's like somebody saying that अच्छा ऐसा एक shape है लकड़े का, ऐसा है, फिर ऐसा दो handle जैसा है, and because in the past we have seen that somebody has called it a chair, we have created the concept, oh, whenever I see this shape I must call it a chair. But sometimes we see a shape that's like this, or we see a shape like this. How is our brain going to say that is this a chair or not? We suddenly get confused and we say, okay, somebody else has called it chair, so even I'm going to call it chair. Chalo, today I'm sitting on it, so I'm calling it chair. So we are creating all of these concepts. Similarly, emotions are also concepts that we are creating by our past experience, what our parents have taught us, by what we hear media, what we see in other people, what we see in our community. So you will see that a whole community will show happiness in one way. जैसे कि राजस्थान में we are not allowed to show emotion, so we call Rudali when somebody dies, and Rudali will do the crying for us. Now, how did that happen? Whereas you and I, if something happens sad to us, we will only start crying. I don't need to hire anybody to. So we have to understand that these are all social constructs. And why I'm saying this is because we feel that even emotion like anxiety is universal. It's not. It's very much a construct in our brain based on socialization. And once you get that awareness, you can, I'm not saying that overnight you will suddenly wake up and say, acha, no, this is just all made up. It's not. It's very real. It's how we transact in the world, right? This is the world we create around us. But having that awareness that it is not universal, it is not set in stone, it gives us the power then to stop and say, take a little bit of a pause and say, kya ye actually anxiety hai? Dr. Dr. Lisa gives a very funny example where she says that the same, also based on the context. अभी हम लोग कोविड में हैं, तो ये जो मेरे पेट में अजीब सा फीलिंग मुझे जो महसूस हो रहे हैं, it must be anxiety. In another situation, it will be gas. In another situation, it will be I'm in a date and I'm getting that strange feeling in my tummy. I'll think, oh, it is attraction. What a good-looking guy. It must be attraction. So you see, it was the same emotion. Based on the situation, my brain has decided to draw a conclusion and say, "Chal beta, this is anxiety. Please tell yourself you're anxious." And now, so I'm oversimplifying, but having that awareness today is so powerful to say that we are not victims of our emotions. और ये जो हम लोग emotions जो label देते हैं, we can question these and we can actually redefine and we can say, okay, you know what? Yes, I come from a long line of worriers and panickers. Can I say that it stops with me? I would now like to redefine how I would. Yes, I'm feeling this, but I find that if I take 10 deep breaths, or if I get a good night's sleep, or if I do some exercise, or if I read a book, I can actually make that feeling go away without having labeled myself as anxiety, panic attack, I'm having a breakdown. And sometimes, yes, we do need to take the help of professionals. Sometimes, yes, if it's an actual chemical imbalance in my brain, it's a hormonal balance, we do need medication, we do need intervention. But to understand that the emotion itself is the construct.
True,
so
very
I hope
true.
That answers your question.
I just wanted to add to that stomach ache problem. It's the situation. It's not loose motion.
Well, for you, my dear, I may have had a bengan bharta today, and so therefore that could. So that's what I'm saying. It's for us to just question. It's for us to question. Is it that? In fact, I'm just very personal note. I have a tattoo here that says Neti Neti. It's from our Upanishads. All it says is, when it's a way of understanding, is this the truth? The answer, not this, not this. It only means that everything that you think is absolute, it's just good to question. Is this the absolute truth? Am I having a breakdown? Am I such a genius? Am I so beautiful? Whenever you have any of these absolute questions, right? Oh, everybody hates me. Ask yourself, is this the absolute truth? Not this, not this. That's all you have to do. Then your mind will look for alternatives. The minute you put it in a box and label it, bus, we don't question anymore. Don't question. I'm sad. Oh, I put label sad. Now I'm sad. Sad, sad, sad. Because we've already never taught ourselves to think. I'm just saying think, question.
Hello everyone. So this is a part of our video series, The New Normal. Make sure to hit the like button, do share it and subscribe to our channel for more updates.
Please hit the bell icon to never miss an update from Avasar.life. Also, let us know in the comment section below how you felt about it. Till then, take care, stay safe.